Hello Earthlings, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hope you're having a good time today. Today's video is about sugars and the coronation. I've used the word sugars in the title because I don't actually like the term. It's a bit derogatory. What I class as sugars are fanatical, either paid trolls to say shit about Meghan, or fanatical people who just won't see any other way. But there's a lot of people out there who are Meghan supporters, and those are the ones I'm actually referring to. So I'm sorry for the derogatory term. I believe they prefer being called squaddies. Don't know if that's the correct term. And the coronation. My reason for doing this video is because there aren't many of these Meghan supporters, but there are one or two who subscribe to me and who are brave enough to comment. I'm not sure I would be brave enough to comment on a channel that supports Meghan Markle, for example. I might find I'm fighting a losing battle or just get savaged. So I welcome them, and I love to hear the other point of view. And they've said a couple of things, and I wrote it all down on a piece of paper, which I've now lost. Nothing new there. Anyway, before getting into that, just a quick update on the sea survival. We have made the video, but we're just waiting for approval from our lovely instructor James, and also the fellow students, just to be sure they're okay with what's on the video. We did promise them we won't release it until everybody's given us the thumbs up. So as soon as we get the thumbs up from All Abroad and James and all the other students, we will release the Kraken. It's actually quite good because it was a long course. A lot of it's in fast forward, so we look like a load of minions in the water doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Right. Sugars and the coronation. Now, firstly, thank you, Annie, for sending me the email link to a video, which again, it was written on a piece of paper which I've lost, which is titled something like, is the king keeping his promise, or something like that, but I will put a link in the description so you can all go and watch it. It's quite long, but it's by three gentlemen, two of which I believe are experts in English constitutional law. And we don't have a written constitution like they do in America and other countries. Oddly enough, when I was studying law at London University, the first three subjects I had to do were crime, contract and constitution. Well, contract I always hated when I was doing A-level law, so I actually became quite an expert at it because I had to work harder at it. And there is going to be a little mention of contract law in this video a bit later on, if I remember, without my piece of paper. Criminal law, of course, I'm pretty much got that one nailed. It was constitutional law that really bent my head, and that's why I gave up on law. Because the first thing I learned was we don't have a written constitution, which I already knew. But then it goes on to say, but there is constitutional law. But there isn't constitutional law, but there is, but there isn't. And it goes on like that, and it just bent my head. And I'm the type of person, I think, I want to know, what's the law? Is there a law or not? And it's a really complicated, weird thing, constitutional law. So these three gentlemen are talking about it, and they're talking about what King Charles's vows will be at his coronation. And it's very interesting. And they make a lot of reference to the World Economic Forum, I believe some of you are familiar with. It's not a subject I've ever really delved into, but having watched this video, it's really hit off a lot of my alarm bells on a lot of subjects that I've never been in favour of, such as a cashless society, my utter hatred of bots and big tech ruling us. Now, coming back to the Meghan supporters, and I forget their names, and actually they might not have been Meghan supporters, they might have been. I think I can hear a row kicking off. It's just on cue. I swear to God, it's been dead silent in the house all day, and as soon as I hit record, it starts. Oh, door slamming. Anyway, where was I? They might be people who've commented on previous videos who are just playing devil's advocate. Now, one of the things one of them said was, and I think it was Kenyon, and I'm sure you've all heard me refer to Kenyon before. Kenyon, it really interests me, and I really, really love it when he or she comments. Kenyon said something along the lines of, like, why are we all so obsessed talking about Meghan? Right? What's the thing? And implied that it's a money-making exercise. from royal commentators, YouTubers, etc. Well, I can't speak for anyone else, only for myself. I find Meghan a study in a certain type of personality that I have encountered in my own personal life. And as I have watched her over the years, her behaviour has been quite predictable. And also Kenyon was like, South Park has had a go at other members of the royal family in the past. Why don't you all get your knickers in a twist about that? Why do you find it so funny that they've just had a go at Harry and Meghan? Well, again, I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, yes, I was largely unaware South Park had, because as I've said, I don't watch it really. The other members of the royal family just laugh it off. It's the fact that Meghan and Harry, we can only imagine, just having watched their behaviour over the last 4 years, how litigious they are, how they kick off over absolutely nothing. That's what makes it so funny. And then when she released the statement saying it's all nonsense and lies and I'm not bothered at all, made it even funnier. That's the thing. Now, we've got these two characters that I've mentioned lots of times in our lives, and I see a lot of resemblances. I see I don't think she intentionally means to cause herself damage, but that's ultimately what those type of characters do. By not being forgiving, not letting things go, bearing grudges, looking for opportunities to set the record straight, stick the knife in, they ultimately end up hurting themselves. So to answer that question, because that's a lot to type with thumbs, for Kenyon, that's why. And by the way, we didn't cancel Netflix because of The Crown. I actually watched season 5 of The Crown. I thought it was shit, because I just didn't think they'd put their back into it where they did with the others. We cancelled Netflix because we came across some weird show with Anna Friel in it, which had child torture of the most graphic. I don't want to see that on my telly. I don't want my kids seeing it, and we cancelled it. We weren't actually watching Netflix before that, but we thought, sod it, we pay for it, let's give it a chance. We'd seen I Came By, which is really good, and we thought, oh, we'll watch something similar, and we came across this Anna Friel thing, and I just thought, that's sick. That is sick. I don't want to watch things like that, and that's why we cancelled Netflix. And now I don't really watch HBO any more than I did Netflix. My main viewing is Paramount, and I watch Lieutenant Columbo and the Murdoch mysteries and stuff like that. So Kenyon, I'm not into cancel culture. I don't cancel things because out of protest. If I don't like something, I stop paying for it, and that was the case. So I hope that answers your question, Kenyon. It's not an obsession. It's because Meghan and Harry are out there yapping away, kicking off, telling us we need to save the planet while they're zooming around in jets. Because Kenyon phrased it like, why are you all picking on a lovely in-love young couple who've got a couple of preschool children, like living their life in private? Oh, no, they're not living their life in private. They're out there yapping their heads off about all kinds of stuff, jumping on every bandwagon. And when it comes to the First Amendment in America being bonkers and starting to tread on free speech, that is a problem. Now, this brings me to the next comment that I'd come across, which sort of said, with regard to the case of Yankee Wally and Trevor Coult, they were basically making the point that, again, I've heard this before, companies can put in their terms and conditions what they like. That in America, I'm dealing with America, companies are not subject to the amendments. Those are individual citizens. Now, I would argue that big tech companies do not have the right to trample all over American citizens' rights to any of the amendments. You can't, and I know this from contract law, this is where I come back to contract, which I really struggled with. But basically, when a company puts something in their terms and conditions, and that is a contract when you agree to them, they can't just put whatever they like in there and trample all over everybody's rights. For example, they can't just say, if you fuck up at work, we're going to murder you. Because that's against the law. I'm sure that's against the law in America. They can't put that in. They can't put something in saying, if you're one of our customers and we don't like what you do, we're going to trample all over your rights. You don't have any amendment rights. They can't do that. They certainly can't in the United Kingdom. under the laws of England and Wales. You can't just write stuff into a contract that's outrageous, because if ever that were taken to court, the court would say, no, you can't murder your employees. No, you can't get involved in importation of cocaine in order to prop up your shares. No. But things to be in a contract, or terms and conditions, they must be reasonable. Now, this brings me back to the King's coronation, because it might seem a bit disjointed, but it does all come together. The reason that our monarchy, I believe our monarchy, works so well is that our monarch is there to keep the lawmakers in check on behalf of us, the citizens or subjects. They're there to protect our rights. Now, as was pointed out in the other video, King Charles is sort of in support of the World Economic Forum. Perhaps he means well, perhaps he doesn't really understand, I don't know. But, excuse me, if we are going to go down the road where we begin being ruled by big tech instead of laws, if the monarch allows that, we are wading into dangerous territory. There's speak of identity cards in the UK. We have them here in the EU. The one argument is they're harmless. It's great. You can have your driving licence, passport, everything knitted into one, birth certificate. The dangerous side is we could be walking towards a cashless society. What if, and this is to Meghan supporters who, I'm not sure you're left-leaning, but maybe more liberal-leaning. Imagine that all these big tech companies end up in charge of everything and we just don't have politicians anymore, because that's the way it's heading. Imagine if a far right gets in charge of those big tech companies and you have a cashless society and you say something on social media that the powers that be don't like, snip, off with your finance. There's no longer cash. All of it, and money doesn't exist. They're credits attached to an identity card. That is a really dangerous situation. The identity card could ultimately even be used for you to vote. So they wouldn't even have to track you down on comments on social media. They'd just go, I don't like the way you voted there. Snip. And you might even find yourself on the receiving end of emails when you appeal and go, oh no, you cut off my money, I can't pay my bills or buy food. You might get some insulting message, like we at YouTube get sometimes. We're sorry. We know this isn't the decision that you wanted, but we have to protect the community. Please appeal. And you keep appealing and you keep appealing and there's no human being and you're snipped and, for want of a better word, you're fucked. Now, I'm left-leaning, slightly, but it wouldn't matter if I was right-leaning. We have to be able to have the left and the right. There can't be dictatorship and there cannot be big tech taking over, which is what they are. We're sleepwalking into this. YouTube, when people say if you don't like the terms and conditions, go to another platform, that's all very well and good. There is no other alternative at the moment. We used to have a thing called the Monopolies Commission. I'm sure I've mentioned it before. And I seem to remember a rumour about how Apple were failing, and Bill Gates, when he was in charge of Microsoft, had to actually bail Apple out to make them more healthy so he had a proper competitor. Otherwise, he would have fallen foul of all the Monopolies Commission. I mean, did they get rid of the Monopolies Commission? Why are Google allowed so much power? Why are the politicians not bringing it all down? I think the politicians are sleepwalking into this WEF forum thing, the World Economic Forum. It's got to stop. People have to question it. And the king, in his oath at the coronation, must promise to protect the rights of his citizens. That's the whole point of the monarchy. So Meghan supporters, be careful what you wish for when silencing free speech, because it may well come for you. When you silence us, you automatically silence yourselves. I hope that wasn't too disjointed. I'll find my piece of paper in a minute and think, oh, damn it, there was another thing on the list. In the meantime, I really look forward to thoughts and opinions from both sides of the argument. And again, I'd like to thank the very small minority of Meghan supporters who do comment here. Just drop the racist thing, because with some of the Meghan supporters now, they're saying, you know, oh, why is it so funny South Park picking on them? Well, is South Park part of the big conspiratorial, racist, don't want a lady of colour in the royal family? Are South Park part of the big conspiracy theory that there were only 53 YouTube troll accounts and Twitter accounts that made Meghan hated? Or could it possibly be that a lot of people don't like being yapped at and told what to do, and told that we have to shut up and can't have our free speech? And then we see in Samantha Markle's case, the defence presented is that Meghan is allowed the right to free speech, criticise, etc. You can't have it both ways. You have to accept the downside of it in order to have your freedom. And bit by bit, our freedoms are being taken away by big tech. As always, thank you for listening if you got this far.